Good morning, Business English students. This is Miss O'Connor, and I'm going to be giving you the directions for your exit ticket and breaking down the model for you so that you can work asynchronously today. Your exit ticket for today is in the assignment or the handout titled 1022 Goals and Dreams Creative Writing. And if you scroll down to the bottom, you'll see the exit ticket directions there. So your goal for today is to write a song or a poem. And I recommend that you focus on the same theme that I use in my model. So the theme that I recommend is that you write about your dreams, your goals, or your struggles. There's 4 examples here of like the kind of message or the kind of story you might tell in this poem or in this song. And so I would recommend that you read through them and you think about which of these resonates with you, which of these you feel like you have a story that you can tell or an experience that you could kind of focus on in your poem. The other thing you have to do in order to be successful, you have to write a poem, and you also need to use 2 poetic devices or literary devices that we've talked about in our classes together. And I have a list here so that you don't have to guess, you know exactly what devices I'm looking for. I'm looking for you to use rhyming, either internal rhyme or external rhyme. You can use symbols, you can create imagery, you can use a metaphor. If you're very clever, you can use iambic or anapest beat pattern. Assonance and consonance is when you're repeating those vowel sounds or those consonant sounds. Alliteration. There's double entendre, enjambment, and also using a turn or a volta stanza at the bottom of your song or poem. Especially for rhyme, there's a cool resource here. It's got a link. So if you click on that link, it takes you to a web page that looks like this, where you can type a word in and it will give you a huge list of all the words that rhyme or kind of rhyme with that word. And it helps a lot if you're working on poetry. I totally recommend it. And the last requirement is that your poem has to be at least 14 lines. It can be as short as a sonnet, but no shorter. So 14 lines or longer is what I'm looking for. I have a space down here at the bottom so that you can brainstorm ideas and like write down concepts that you might want to include in your poem. The brainstorm is optional. It helps you. It shows your thoughts and work. But your exit ticket, your performance is the poem itself, which should go into this gap here. So to show you how this looks in an actual assignment, I've written a model, and the model is up at the top. And my model is titled The Farm, and I'm going to read it to you very quickly and highlight the places where I'm following the directions that I gave you. In the grumpy hours after 3 in the morning, reading the directions warning, claim evidence, analyze, feeling my exhaustion arise, I remind myself of why. 10 acres of green grass somewhere, 30 miles north or west out there, with horses and some chickens, a milk cow, and that stupid llama too somehow. Shining with a sunny morning smile. It won't come as an accidental gift, first getting the credential, then put in years to find the rhythm of success. It's not a given. To be safe and saving, it will take lots of hours, days and weeks and midnight showers, grinding through the early and the late, looking forward to a wedding date. But you always knew, loving someone and wanting to provide was never going to be an easy ride. So, in this poem, you can see that I actually went through and I already annotated the external or end rhyme that I have in each line. And I have a fairly simple A, A, B, B, C, D, D, E, E, F pattern, where in each stanza, so in stanza 1, the rhyme doesn't reflect again in stanza 2, but the rhyme rhymes to each end of the line, with the third line being like an off rhyme. It doesn't rhyme with anything. It just breaks that pattern a little bit to set you up for the next stanza. You can also see here I've got that stupid llama too somehow shining with a sunny morning smile. This constant repetition of the S sound at the beginning of the words is alliteration. So that S sound, somehow shining, sunny, smile, that's alliteration. The sunny morning smile can also be seen as a metaphor, where I'm saying that the smile of the person on the farm with me is similar to daylight shining on the farm. It lights it up, it gives it meaning, and so it's a metaphor. in my third stanza. So remember, a stanza is kind of like the paragraph. So this is stanza 1, and then the 10 acres starts stanza 2, and then it won't come as an accidental starts stanza 3. Stanza 3 uses enjambment. So remember, enjambment is when you cross the bar or you break the line in a strange place and force the reader to move on to the next line more quickly. So it says, it won't come as an accidental gift. First getting the credential, then put in years to find the rhythm of success. It's not a given. The rhythm given. I'm going to have to think about that rhyme and see if I can make it stronger. But you can see that the accidental gift breaks that line in an awkward place. And then over here, to find the rhythm of success also breaks that line in an awkward place and kind of forces you to realize that this is a sentence and it's been split up strangely and you have to read it together. And then the final technique that I use down here at the bottom is I have 5 stanzas in my whole poem, and the first 4 stanzas have 5 verses each. They have a very regular rhythm or pattern, and then I break my pattern and I put a couplet at the end. So here, just like in a sonnet, I have a volta or a couplet at the very end of my poem that holds a very important idea. And for me, this is almost like the main argument at the end. This is the thought or idea that kind of inspired the rest of my poem, or it's the concluding thought that makes it more clear. This whole poem is about me wanting to become successful and reach my goals so that I can create a happy life for me and my partner. And so loving someone and wanting to provide was never going to be an easy ride. And when you understand that and you go back up and you realize that the first stanza is all about the struggle that I'm going through now, and the second stanza is about that, what I want to provide for my partner. And then the next stanzas, the next 2 are about the process that I'm going to have to go through, the steps I'm going to have to take in order to get to this point of providing for them. Okay, so now that you've seen my model, it's here. You can use it as something to help you think about what your poem should look like. It should look something like my poem. You are going to do this for yourself and write your own creative expression. I recommend, if you want, just like I annotated out my devices, if you annotate your devices as well, like it will be unarguable. I can't miss the place where you used your alliteration. You can annotate it in and prove to me that you deliberately worked to include the devices in your poem. I definitely recommend you start off with a brainstorm and you write down what ideas you might want to talk about to inspire you, and then you move on to writing your actual poem. And I really look forward to reading all of your work. If you have any questions or issues, you know my cell phone number. I'll type it down one more time just so that you can see it, and you can shoot me a text asking me for any help. Even if I'm at my training, I can still check my phone periodically, not necessarily very regularly. And answer any text messages. So my phone number is 337-654-3273. Okay, guys, have fun.